Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Alexis, and as you can tell by the title, I am sharing my reading vlog for Before I Let Go. Now, this is Kennedy Ryan's latest release. It came out today on November 15th, and I was able to get a copy of it on November 13th, this past Sunday, because my local Barnes & Nobles put it out early, thankfully, because I knew even with those pre-orders, I wasn't going to get the ones I ordered for at least another 2 weeks. And once I get those, I'll possibly part with this copy because who needs 3 copies of the same books? Or at least, get different editions at the very least. But no, I'm getting 2 other copies, hardcover and paperback, whereas this one, because it was available and because it was right there, I decided to get it as well. But yes, I feel like it's one of those books that is going to be resonating with me, and it's so riveting throughout. It's just going to be one of those things I'm gonna linger on for books, at least for this year. Who knows, maybe her next book I'll feel the same, and I'm pretty confident I will because I've read just about all of her books in her backlist, with the exception of 2. I have yet to get my hands on from her first series, but with that being said, I'm nearly caught up, and I'm already looking forward to her next book, which is due to come out early 2024. I don't know which series, I don't know which characters it will follow. I have my suspicions, but I'm not going to put it out yet because, of course, people are just now getting the opportunity to read the books. And as someone who didn't have early access to the arcs, I understand the wait that we are forced to go through, and I have a lack of patience. So that is essentially why I had to go to my local Barnes & Nobles, knowing that they had it on the table early. I called ahead, I made sure. But anyways, this was just a long intro to the vlog, and essentially it's me freaking out. You may get some spoilers, which is why I say watch with caution. Perhaps watch this after you read it, so maybe we can talk about it. But I was having mixed feelings about both leading characters because of what was happening. And yes, I'm going to leave it at that because just hear my thoughts throughout the vlog. I did get a little tired toward the end. I am sorry for that, but that's what happens when you stay awake for over 24 hours. So yeah, I couldn't sleep when I started this, so if that doesn't tell you anything, I don't know what else. But let's just hop into it. And today is November 13th on a Sunday. It's around 10:45 p.m. I did get to snag a couple books at my local Barnes & Nobles today, and one of them is my most anticipated read, but for now I'll share the other book. So I was able to get this copy of A Caribbean Heiress in Paris along with Before I Let Go. I'm going to talk about this in a second because this is the whole reason I'm doing the vlog. Whereas this one I did pick up because, well, I did already read it. I listened to the audiobook for the Blushing Bluestocking Society hosted by Remarkablylisa and Rachel Reads and Sings. I will mention their channels down below as well. But with that being said, I really did enjoy this, and I was going to get it anyway. Who knows, maybe I'll reread the physical copy because I did enjoy the audiobook, but I feel like that affected my, enjoyment of the book itself because there's just something about listening to people. It doesn't captivate me as strongly as the books do, or at least that's what I've noticed in my reading experience. I'm more of a physical reader than a listener, but I digress. I really enjoyed this, and it was on the same table as Before I Let Go, so what better way to do it than to get both, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, now, the reason you probably clicked on this vlog, Before I Let Go, by Kennedy Ryan. This is her latest release. By the time you see this, perhaps it's already been past release day, but who knows? I am starting this 2 days before, and I've already started the book. I read the prologue in the first chapter, and it is a beautiful cover. You notice the foiling. I honestly didn't even know what this was, considering the shiny leaves. I didn't know that was called foiling, but hey, now I learned something new. You can see it's on the spine as well. apparently the UK version is different, that has an orange spine. Personally, I prefer this one. I just think it, has a nice color palette. But hey, with that being said, this book does feature Josiah and Yasmin. They are co-parenting. Of course, something happens and, they got a divorce. They do have two lovely kids, Deja and Kasim. Okay, so yes, their two kids are Deja and Kasim. I will say that it's already alluding to what happened and part of the reason that they got divorced, but they seem to be successfully co-parenting. But again, I'm only a chapter in. I have yet to get into the nitty-gritty stuff, but I just but with that being said, I'm just going to get started on this one, and yeah. So that is the beginning of this, and I'll see you in the next clip with my update. Hey, so I'm back with a little update. It's 12:48 a.m. on Monday, November 14th, and I'm about a quarter in. I just finished chapter 6, and they already mentioned what is going on and one of the main reasons that they got a divorce. I gotta say, Yasmin has clearly been through it, as Josiah, but I feel like she definitely carried more of the pain, or at least a different kind of pain that no one else seems to understand as much. I'm going to put a spoiler here. Well, I mean, considering this whole vlog, it might end up being spoiler anyway, so you'll see that in the title. But essentially, there was a stillbirth, and Yasmin still had to deliver their third child. And after that, she went into a spiral of depression and wasn't really responsive when it came to, living her life. And yeah, so that is being addressed a bit. It's been a few years, they're already divorced. It seems her son Kasim is definitely more affectionate when it comes to her, whereas Deja is rebellious. She's 13. She is talking back. She clearly is not understanding about the situation her mother was in, despite it being a family affair. She clearly holds blame towards Yasmin for the divorce and the family breaking apart and putting Josiah through it all. But I'm really glad Josiah is starting to put his foot down, or at least on page, in terms of the way she is talking to her mother, the way she speaks about her mother. So I feel like it's about time, but Josiah's starting to see it as well, that maybe he should have been less judgmental or more understanding when they were still together, when he had the chance. So yeah, but I just it's already getting my chest aching, and I feel for them. But God, how do you come back from this? I'm anticipating when Kennedy Ryan is able to do that for these characters, because man, it's so heavy. And it's not like dealing with child loss is new for Kennedy Ryan's books, but yeah. Um so I'm going to hop back in and I'll update when I feel like it. But yeah, right now Deja's too disrespectful for me. If anything, I understand though how both of the children feel, because clearly they both love their mom, but they feel like there was a disconnect for such a long time, whereas Kasim is trying to hold on tight and show her as much love as possible. Deja seems more upset and putting blame on Yasmin for everything that went down with their family. Oh, and Josiah is starting to see somebody. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But you know what? That is life, and I can't wait till they break it off so Yasmin and Josiah can get back together. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Okay, yes, I'm back again so soon. It is the first page of chapter 7, and already we're seeing a couple name drops for historical romance authors. That would be Sarah MacLean and Beverly Jenkins. Beverly Jenkins is the African American historical romance queen. May she reign forever. I just wanted to point that out. Here's an image as well, so you can see the proof for yourself. But, it would be only better and more fitting if you decide to read this. I'm already in my feelings, as I said. But yeah, I'm gonna hop back into it. So it's 2 a.m. now, and I just finished chapter 10. Yes, I am a slow reader, but do I mind? Somewhat, but am I getting through? Yes. And I have such mixed emotions about Josiah, and I'm just waiting for the personal growth, but essentially, there was this get together for the town. He brought his new girlfriend. Yasmin's getting hit on by a guy, and she's finally considering dating. Like, it's a step forward for her. Great. We love that. Her friends are awesome. I like Hendrix a lot. She's just so supportive with bad bitch, all that good stuff. And yeah, so seeing them interact is just interesting. So I can only imagine how painful that loss could be. And my chest is heavy. My feelings for Yasmin are, I guess, more. I just feel more heavily for Yasmin at this point than Josiah, because as someone who's able to carry children, that is something that would be more painful than someone who's experiencing it outside, you know, like and now with school, Kasim is doing really well. They're considering accelerating him for skipping grades and such. And in order to do so, it's suggested that maybe he should start seeing therapy to make sure he is not just excelling academically, but seeing if he's doing well mentally in order to go through that transition. And Josiah is clearly hesitant about it, but when they talk to Kasim, he decides to say, hey, I'll do it if you do it, so they can do it together. And I definitely feel for Yasmin in that moment, because he felt inclined to do it when it came to their son, but he couldn't do the couples therapy when clearly they were going through it with the stillbirth and losing their third child and going through depression. Yasmin was basically doing it on her own, whereas Josiah clearly looks down on therapy. And I'm just waiting for his growth, because man, does he not look good in my eyes right now. It's 3:21 a.m. and I just finished chapter 13. Essentially, Josiah finally met Dr. Musa and is recounting the events, or at least the night Yasmin asked for a divorce or demanded a divorce. They were already struggling, and just reading about what he had been doing to keep it together, I feel like he didn't know how to cope with the loss. He lost the only parental figure he had after his parents passed away, and then he lost a child, never got to meet, on top of the fact that Yasmin was told it wasn't safe to conceive anymore. And of course, Yasmin does have her own way of trying to get things started again, and Josiah just physically does not want to. But emotionally, he wants to. He wants them to be in a better place, and I could feel myself welling up about that. It's just, how does one cope? And it's just, Yasmin does seem to just be so withdrawn And it's just, I don't know how, I still don't understand how can they come back from that. And I know Kennedy Ryan's gonna do it, but dang, I'm almost halfway. And, oh God, maybe 2 more chapters, and then I'll go to sleep. Back again, not much time has passed, but I'm on page 139. Yasmin just finished her session with Dr. Abrams. She's heading over to Josiah's house because Kasim forgot something for school. And I am anticipating a potential run-in with the girlfriend and Josiah. But I could be wrong. But that is what I'm thinking, and man, is it gonna hit the fan? That's how I feel. But yeah, stay tuned. I officially am on chapter 20. It's 4:55 a.m. and I'm already halfway through this book. I mean, for me, that is pretty good. I'm not a very fast reader, as I mentioned. But quick update, essentially, I was right. Jasmine did end up running into Josiah's girlfriend, and she clearly stayed the night over. That was upsetting. She ended up being on call with Josiah for a bit. He picked up on the fact that she did in fact run in with his girlfriend. And after hanging up, Yasmin took a moment to cry, and kudos to her for taking a moment to herself, because sometimes you just need to let it out. And yeah, then she decides to go on her date with another person, of course. The family is all there, they witness it. She goes out, has a good time. They do end up talking a little bit about Josiah, hinting at a fallout, but she didn't get into detail with him. Whereas back at home, Josiah, who was just supposed to check in on the kids, ended up staying. He did speak with their daughter, Deja. Clearly, Deja resents her mother, and now Josiah's thinking that they both really need to talk about it. And excuse me if I sound really slow now, because I'm really tired, but I just wanted to continue, and it's definitely time for me to go to sleep. But yes, and he did end up staying a little bit. He tried Yasmin's lasagna. She wasn't always good with cooking, but that was really sweet. And then he did see the security camera on her and her date coming home and sharing their first kiss. And now Josiah, he also feels some type of way when that happens. So when his girlfriend texts him to, possibly come over, he denies and decides to go home by himself with, of course, Otis. But yes, finally, yes. It's just, it's been obviously a while for either of them, but, Josiah's the one who took a step first. And clearly he's not comfortable with Yasmin trying to move on. Like, neither of them are, but they're not talking about it, and they think it's just growing pains. But no, you guys aren't over each other. So, I'm still not 100% about Josiah. I'm still more inclined to support Yasmin, but you know what? Maybe I'll be convinced. Their meeting with their business person did end up talking about another location, so they're gonna have to go visit it together. So that's already implying close proximity, a night without the kids. I'm excited. But yeah, so I'm going to call it a night, because I feel like if I read any longer, I'm not going to process it, and I certainly want to process it, but it's interesting. I'm sleep deprived, so I'm going to put this away. And the last time I fell asleep with a book, I messed it up, so I'm definitely not doing that with this cover. Just stunning. But yeah, I'm gonna go to bed, so I'll catch you in a few hours. Okay, it's just a few minutes later, and I decided to skim the first page of chapter 20. Not the smartest decision, because Josiah's already hinting at the fact that, he is trying not to give in to the obvious attraction they have for each other still. Because he doesn't want to be hurt again. He doesn't want to go through that again with her. And I'm just like, you're going to give into it, but I feel like it's possible he's going to be the one to not give in, and then he's going to come back like, no, actually, if I'm going to go through this, I want to go through it with only you. And it's just, that's how I feel. But you know what? I need to get to sleep, so no, I should not be starting another chapter. Good night. Good morning. So it's around 8:50 a.m. I just finished chapter 28. And did I sleep? No, I couldn't. So, yeah, I just kept powering through. And I just woke up some more because I needed to continue. Looking at my tabs, there's definitely a mix of emotions going through reading this book. All the blues are when I felt some type of way or something was hurtful. And you can just tell there's pining, but there's so much pain. And then the orange is for when something cute happens or an obvious sign of affection, whether it be between the leading couple or your kids or maybe another relative. But man, so just to do a quick recap since I last updated, Vashti, I believe that's how you pronounce the girlfriend's name, she did end up attending Thanksgiving with the family because Yasmin invited her via Josiah and said it was okay for her to come. She did. But also Yasmin's mother, Carol, attended, and she was the sweetest thing. Apparently she was close with Aunt Berta as well. It was a nice family affair. Some truths were shared at the table. Enjoyed a great meal, old family recipes that were nostalgic, enlightenment about therapy and how healthy that's been for Kasim, as well as alluding to Yasmin and her negative thoughts and feeling like her kids were only people helping her get up in the morning. They gave her purpose in her darkest moments. And I think that's something so telling about children and how you can lose hope if they're not with you anymore. I'm not a mother, but knowing how that is and being raised by a single parent because of circumstances, because of loss, I definitely feel for Yasmin and seeing how she had to pick herself back up in the absence of communication between her and Josiah because he was grieving in his own way. What was interesting to me, didn't show compatibility with her. And they do address it during their trip to Charlotte because they are scouting out a new location for a second restaurant since they run the business together. If I didn't mention that, they are healthy co-parents, or at least somewhat healthy. They're coping, and they're able to run a restaurant together, provide for the family on top of possibly expanding to another city. They do end up meeting another couple who is selling the place because they are retiring, and it's clear that they see as well the natural intimacy that still is between Yasmin and Josiah. There's the one room, one bed trope. Love that for them, but they definitely get nitty gritty. And of course, things happen. For the first time in years, they are together. And what's funny to me is that at first Josiah was saying no, but then after a beat, he said, you know what? No. One night, that's all we'll have, just to get over it, get past it. Meanwhile, you already know from reading both perspectives, as well as everyone else's awareness, that they are definitely still attracted to each other. They still want each other. But that's how I feel right now, and I'm just gonna get into chapter 29 when they return home. So yeah, this has definitely been a whirlwind of emotions. Like I said, blue and orange tabs, and it's almost 9 o'clock a.m. I didn't sleep because I tried to sleep for maybe a half hour. I couldn't do it, so I just continued on. And this is what happened. This is how I'm getting through, if that's what you can call it. So that's my update. A quick update. I'm on page 285. The title name drop is here. It's happening, and it's rekindling of hope, renewed dreams. It's just that's all I have to say. I'm not gonna say any more because I'm still in the middle of a chapter, but yeah, that's how it's going right now. It's 11:35 a.m. I just finished breakfast, and I am on page 326, starting at chapter 39. I'm almost done. And it's so beautiful. I mean, it's been a roller coaster for sure, and it's still not there yet. They're, having a couple things after New Year's. They're starting this little secret tiptoeing around relationship. The friends found out for Yasmin. The kids still don't know. It's just interesting, and Josiah's the one who said that he didn't want it to be anything more than the intimacy that they have, that it couldn't be more. But clearly, it's edging towards that. And Yasmin obviously knows what she wants. Josiah's still not there yet. I'm just waiting for him to figure it out. It's so good, but also so many roller coasters. I wasn't expecting this many roller coasters. If you've read other Kennedy Ryan books, I have to say this is the most erratic my heartbeat has been reading this. Crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna hop back into it. I'm almost there, so probably not gonna update again until I finish the book. It's about 12:10 p.m. I just finished chapter 40. Deja actually caught Yasmin and Josiah together. She was, of course, confused and outraged. But it's finally revealed why she clearly sided with her father more and seemed to resent Yasmin. But they finally talked it out. Yasmin shared her regrets, and they had a bonding moment. It actually moved me to tears. So, was this a roller coaster? Yes. Am I still recovering? Yes. Am I still going through the remaining chapters? Yes. I have no idea how many more chapters I have. All I know is that I just need to continue because otherwise I can't do anything else. But that's the update. So it is around 1:30 p.m. on November 14th. I officially finished the book less than 24 hours since I bought it. Can I say that happened before? I don't think so. But I just found it necessary to continue on because I physically could not sleep. It was an issue. I hardly closed my eyes. I know it wasn't for that long because I had to continue what was happening between Josiah and Yasmin. I love the message in here about mental health. It had me questioning some of my own reservations about it as well, because I remember growing up, and I went to a private school when I was younger. So I remember around that time there were other students or my classmates who did experience things that seemed to call for outside help of the family, and that seemed to be looked down at least among students. I can't say what teachers thought because of course I wasn't as aware of that, but being among my peers, gossip was common, and kids can be petty. So I definitely rethink about those things reading this, and I do empathize more with the situation, considering how some people feel more like Josiah, like they can handle it on their own. I'm definitely leaning more towards that personally, although I'm able to talk about it openly with friends if anything goes on, as well as family for the most part. Forgive my slurred and slow words. I am tired. I am emotionally drained after this book, but also physically because I did not sleep at all. So, yes, I enjoyed this a lot. I love the discussion about food and family, realizing it was some way a coping mechanism. But yeah, so all in all, 5 out of 5 stars. Perhaps you've already read it and you have your comments down below. Do you have any reservations about this? Were there any things that you felt could have shifted? I do hope to participate next month in the group discussion that apparently Kennedy Ryan has planned for group readers next month. I am in a couple groups on Facebook, so hoping to get into that. I'm glad I don't have to worry about spoilers anymore because I managed to get through it. But now I have to actually work. And those are all my thoughts as I was reading before I let go. If this is what you needed to get intrigued or, go in with caution, feel free to do so. But I still highly recommend this book despite the roller coaster of emotions, because sometimes a person needs to do that just to feel. And not to say that I was in that state, but it definitely got me in my feelings because of what was going on. So, yes, my name is Alexis, and until next time, take care and happy reading.